favorite holiday is here, and I love the pomp and circumstance of preparing my family's Thanksgiving dinner. I've been doing this for over 30 years, so I'm not going to lie, I'm very good at it. But oh my, do I remember the first year I tried to do it. Timing the turkey, making the gravy, and those last-minute mashed potatoes. It was overwhelming. Today, I'm talking stress-free turkey, easy gravy, and a make-ahead mashed potato stuffing casserole. Let's get started. I've got a 19-pound turkey today. This one was frozen, and I've thawed it in my refrigerator for about 2.5 days. I've rinsed it, patted it dry on the inside and the outside, and I've put it on a sturdy rack in a big disposable aluminum pan. Bird is on the rack in a nice big pan, and I've added 6 cups of chicken stock to the bottom of this pan. It's going to create moist heat as the turkey cooks, which is going to keep the bird from drying out. You don't stuff your bird with cooked or uncooked edible food anytime. Just please don't do it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't put anything in your bird, because a bird with an empty cavity is going to dry out. So what am I going to put in it? I'm going to put in what I call aromatics. A couple of sprigs of rosemary, 3, sometimes 4 small stalks of celery, half of an onion, and I like to finish it off with some Granny Smith apple. I've melted about half a stick, 3-4 tablespoons of salted butter, and I'm going to take all the time that's necessary to paint this bird with butter. This is all the basting you're going to need. Every expert in the world will agree that once your bird browns, basting helps it no way, no how. Another thing worthy of note, I've taken my turkey out of the refrigerator about an hour before it's going in the oven, because you really don't want to put an ice cold bird in the oven, or it'll immediately lower your oven temperature. Any butter I've got left, I'm just going to pour that over the top, let it drizzle down into the bird and down into the bottom of the pan. I'm going to give it a really nice, generous grinding of sea salt. And I like the coarse ground salt better than just, say, shaking salt and pepper. And a generous grinding of a peppercorn blend. You can use all black pepper if you like. Before I put the bird in the oven, I take a sheet of foil and I make what I call a little shield for the breast. And I kind of just form it a little bit so that it fits over the top. Now I'm going to remove this and I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to put this bird in the oven at 450 degrees for about 15 or 20 minutes. And when the breast starts to get a really neat golden brown, I'm going to open the oven door. I'm going to put that shield on the breast, which is going to keep it from over browning or burning and drying out the breast meat. And then I'm going to reduce the oven temperature to 350 degrees and let it finish cook. And this one should be done in less than 4 hours. This is my great Aunt Mary's recipe, and every year at Thanksgiving it was one of my favorite things on the Thanksgiving table. She started by baking 8 russet potatoes and scooping out the centers, and that'll give you about 8 to 9 cups of crumbly, smashed russet potatoes. And I actually baked my potatoes last night and scooped out the centers this morning, because Thanksgiving is all about organization and getting things done in advance. I sauteed some celery and some onions with some butter, which is classic stuffing ingredients, and I added some poultry seasoning, some parsley, some salt, and some pepper. I'm going to get all of that stirred in. And of course, as our binder, as is in all stuffing, we've got eggs. And I've got 4 jumbo eggs. You're going to use 6 large eggs if you don't have jumbo eggs in your refrigerator. I just quickly whisk those together with a fork. Give these another stir. Now I've got buttermilk here. You can use regular milk if you want, but I really like the tang of buttermilk. I'm just going to add about 1 cup to start. Now we're going to start incorporating bread crumbs. And I've got about 14 slices of bread that I ran through the food processor yesterday. I'm using potato bread because it's a little bit sweeter than ordinary white bread, and it's what my Aunt Mary always used. The bowl's going to be really full, and now I'm just going to add my 2nd cup of buttermilk, and I'm going to stir. But you can see I still have my container of buttermilk here because 2 cups is usually enough, but you know, the number of cups of potatoes you get out of 8 russet potatoes varies, and 14 slices of bread might give you a few more breadcrumbs here or there. So I always keep this on hand in case I need to moisten this with a little bit more liquid. Put the entire mixture in a 9x13 casserole that's been sprayed with no stick spray. I'm going to cover it lightly with foil. And I'm going to put this in a 325-degree oven, covered for about 45 minutes. Then I'm going to uncover it for about 15 minutes until it gets just lightly browned on the top and puffy in the center. This is not a casserole that you want to have really deep golden brown. That means you've overcooked it. We've got mashed potatoes in here, and we want to keep them nice and creamy. Well, my turkey is tented and resting, and my mashed potato casserole is in the oven. And I've melted 6 tablespoons of butter in a skillet here, and I've allowed it to get nice and foamy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add like 1/2 cup of pepper, 1/2 cup of flour, and a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. I'm not adding any salt and pepper to this, not yet. Now I'm going to stir this around until it gets really thick and pasty. And this is just called making a roux. So if you hear that term, it's to get the flour nice and smooth and creamy. Keeps you from getting a lumpy gravy if you start with a roux. The longer you can stir this without it starting to brown, the less of it gets rid of the flour flavor. So we're just going to let this go for another second. Move nice and fast here. Now I've strained all of those wonderful drippings from the turkey, all of that broth that we put in the bottom of the pan. I ran them through a fat lean separator to get the fat out because we don't need the extra calories or the fat. And I am slowly whisking constantly, and I'm just going to bring this to a simmer. I'm going to keep stirring it almost constantly till it gets thick and smooth, and then I'm going to salt and pepper it to taste. And I'm waiting for the salt and pepper because these drippings are really flavorful from all the salt and pepper and from the turkey that already went in there. So we may not have to add any at all. I'm really good with salt, but I'm going to reach over here and I'm going to add some freshly black pepper. I'm just going to put a lid on this and keep it on warm until my casserole comes out of the oven, and then it's time to eat. Thanksgiving is all about sharing. Better said, it's all about being thankful for what you're given and sharing it with others. Family, friends, and yes, even strangers. We really are all in this food world together, so make the time you've got in your kitchen count. Happy Thanksgiving. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website,